Dear listener, this is the KMBest podcast, and after a failed attempt at a cold open, we're just going to go right into episode 31. Multiple recording attempts at getting a good cold open out before I just stumbled over my words. We're done with cold opens. My skill set has disappeared entirely. I've upgraded my microphone and my camera, but I have downgraded my tongue dexterity, much to the chagrin of all of you and also my significant other. This is the KMBest podcast, episode 31. We are going to talk about Mr. Fantastic, another man with an incredibly dexterous tongue.
Almost certainly, right?
What do you mean almost certainly? I read the Ryan North Fantastic Four, and he spends the entire run doing body horror shit to himself. There's a bit where he goes like this and his eyes extend out like binoculars. There's another bit where he grows hands out of his fingers behind his back to fight Dr. Octopus so he can have the tentacles too. He does only body horror shit in that entire run is just him doing body horror shit. It is absolutely insane.
Well, you could, I think you could make the argument of oh, well, it's just his skin that stretches or whatever.
It's not.
And yeah.
No, it's
just clarifying.
It's very explicitly every single part of him. He can do that with everything. His skin is actually superlatively resistant. There's a bit where vampires are involved and they cannot bite him. So he stretches himself over a building to protect the people inside the building from the vampires. And then he stretches himself over Madison Square Garden to protect the people inside Madison Square Garden from the vampires. This is issue 5 of the comic. He spends the whole time just whatever wacky thing that you have in mind for wouldn't it be funny if Mr. Fantastic could do this? It has happened in these 30 issues of Fantastic Four that I've read.
He's like, I'm gonna do one of those. I'm gonna just box check one of the silly things I read on the internet every 2 pages.
Yes, that is actually what it's like. There are probably, it's not every 2 pages, but once every 5 issues, he's good for just a sight gag. Where I told you about the binoculars one. There's one where he's using his eye as a microscope and it has a secondary zoomed in lens. So his eye comes out of his eye and then there's a smaller stalk coming out of that eye to imply that he's looking even harder at the thing that he's looking at. Very funny. Extremely good gags going on in this, but we should probably talk about the Marvel Snap card, Mr. Fantastic. First steps, which I am actually, shocker of shockers, going to ask you to read out.
2/2, end of turn. Card in your hand gets either -1 cost or +1 power. Is that correct?
That is correct.
That's from memory.
Yeah, I could tell. Trust me, nobody thought you were reading that.
I'm still typing.
Unless they had a really low opinion of your tongue dexterity, I don't think anyone thought you were looking at anything there.
I haven't had any complaints. I'm just saying.
Do you think Mr. Fantastic will have any complaints? First of all, I feel like we need to establish what the hell we're going to call this guy, because we can't call him Mr. Fantastic. We could call him Mr. Fantastic. We could call him Mr.
Read 2.
Mr. Fist, I think. F1ST. I think that plays. We could call him Pedro. I feel like we've got to call him something the same way we never established the nomenclature for Rocket and Groot, and so people started calling it RNG, and it sucks. We need to establish the nomenclature for this guy.
I like Pedro. I'm in for Pedro.
I'm also in for Pedro. So we're going to be calling him Pedro the rest of this episode. So, but the problem is then we get to the Human Torch, whose actor is not nearly as famous as Pedro Pascal. And we get to the Thing, whose actor is also not nearly as famous as Pedro Pascal.
I don't know the other 3.
I know Vanessa Kirby. I know the guy from The Bear. And I know the guy from
Wait,
Uh,
which guy from the bear?
the Thing is one of the guys from the Bear.
Which guy?
Not the guy in the white t-shirts, but the other guy. Aaron Moss Backrack, I believe. And then Johnny Storm is the guy from Stranger Things, the D&D game master from Stranger Things. Those are the people that I know. Joseph Quinn, that's his name. Anyway, point is, does it reveal something about me that I know Vanessa Kirby very specifically, but not the other two? Probably. Is Pedro going to be good in Marvel Snap compared to Surge and Fastos? You're about to say something about the Thing, aren't you?
What else is Vanessa Kirby in? I'm looking it up.
I don't know.
Oh, it's cousin. Okay. Why is he the Thing? Oh, whatever.
I
like him. I'm in.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why he's the Thing, but I don't know like who would be a good casting for the Thing. You know, you've just got to be like a nice guy who looks tough. I feel like looking tough is 100% CGI at this point, so who cares?
So Vanessa Kirby is in Hobbs and Shaw. Is that where you know her from?
No, I know her from Twitter and being extremely attractive. Are you kidding me? Like, what? Like,
I don't know. I was just like looking at the recent-ish movies that she has been in.
Yeah, it's not her. It's not her.
That was the
like,
one
yeah, no.
That was what I clocked you as.
I mean, I have seen Hobbs and Shaw. You correctly identified that. I don't remember her being in it. I don't remember anything that happened in that movie. I don't remember a single thing that happened in that movie, except at the end, they go to The Rock's home and Roman Reigns is there. They do a bunch of wrestling things. I couldn't tell you a single thing about the actual plot of that movie, though. Like, I don't know who the bad guy was. I don't know who the good... I mean, I know The Rock and Jason Statham. I don't know anything else that happened in that movie. Not one thing. Nobody.
The Human Torch was in Stranger Things.
I literally said that, yes.
Oh. I can't do two things at once.
You know, the foundation of a podcast is dialogue.
Yeah, you speak to the audience, and then I speak at you. Eddie Munson. I feel like that's a made-up name. Like, even more so for, like, a fictional TV character.
You're telling me that the TV show has a guy with a made-up name in it?
Yeah, but it sounds more made up.
Okay. Speaking of made-up names, let's talk about Pedro a little bit.
Yeah. We'll go Pedro, Kirby, Bear.
Yeah, you forgot their names already.
We call the Thing the Bear.
Yep. You're just like
me. And we can call Human Torch 11.
Yeah, you remembered Vanessa Kirby immediately. You're just like me. You can't dodge those allegations.
Well, hers was the easiest to come up with.
Yeah, why?
Just her last name.
Okay.
And then we'll get sued by Nintendo. Be dope.
Get sued by Jack Kirby of Kirby Crackle fame. This is a good card, I think, but I'm not sure exactly where it falls on the spectrum of good cards. Like, on a scale from Okoye to Surge, how good is Mr. Fantastic?
Closer to Surge, I would say. Which is to say stronger than Okoye, and by a decent amount, I think. Obviously does not do a whole lot if you say draw him on turn 4, right? And it's +2 power. I think I said +1 power.
I'm pretty sure you got it right at +2, but what do I know?
No, I think I said +1, but Snap Zone says +2. I don't know. Maybe I'm right. Maybe
it is +2.
Yeah, okay. Even better than I thought. The fact that you can't control it in every facet, right? It's hitting a random card, and it's still a coin flip to do the thing that you want. And I think that overall, people may disagree with this, and I'm curious to hear your take. I think power is the stronger of the two.
No, I agree with you.
Okay.
I have
Do you
long
think do you
held.
think people will disagree?
Yes, I think that cost reduction is the most overrated thing in Marvel Snap. It is not about what feels broken, and I think people from other card games feel like getting anything for free, getting a big discount, it has to be broken, right? But what matters is the ratio, and good cost reduction can impact that ratio. But you're going to be playing a lot of cards that are specifically built to impact the ratio or to multiply the buff effect, i.e., a Brood +2 is actually a +6, and Mr. Sinister is a +4, a Shaw is a +4, right? No Hobbs in this game. And so this is
Who would be Hobbs to go with Sebastian Shaw?
I mean, probably like one of the guys from the Hellfire Club, right? There's a guy who like can manipulate
Black
his
Tom Cassidy?
mass. That's actually not a Hellfire Club guy at all. He's like Juggernaut's best buddy, and he's
No,
like
I
a
know.
rival. Okay, I wasn't sure because like
I
feel
was
like
I
an
was thinking
easy
of
thing.
characters who are not in the game because
No, it's this guy named like Leland or something. There's like a guy like a guy in the Hellfire
Azazel?
Club. No, there's Mastermind. It could be Mastermind. Mastermind's in the Hellfire Club for a while. Jason Wingard, and he spends like a whole arc of Claremont X-Men like mentally seducing Jean Grey. And then it's just like when he gets revealed, they're like, "Oh, it's just Mastermind again." Like it's just a very funny little like thing where it's like this whole thing that's like building up and building up and building up and building up, and then it's just Mastermind again. It's like whatever. Like they seem to have a previous relationship. I haven't read back far enough to know if they actually do, but it is alluded to. It's just like, oh yeah, that's the guy who does this. And so it's like, how did you not figure this out if you knew what this guy's powers were? How were you not like, oh yeah, it's very obviously the guy who does this thing? Like,
yeah, and he's like been doing it.
Yes, it's like just like
Probably
his
like never even
thing.
stopped doing it.
Yes,
And it's just like, oh wow. I just assumed that you had moved on. He's like, nope.
Nope, I'm still doing it. This is my thing. This is my MO. But
Nope,
yeah, that could be
not
Hobbs.
over it.
That could be Hobbs. That if that's what you're gonna do, that could be the Hobbs to his Shaw. But this is a card that I think is you are going to be hoping for the +2 because you are going to be deck building around the +2. That's gonna be the thing you're doing.
Yeah, because I mean, I think no matter what, any of these bonuses, presumably they're going to help you to some degree. Obviously, you could hit a card that you have no intention of playing given the game state or whatever. But for the most part, you're going to be pretty happy with whatever you get, I would hope. But yeah, certainly if you are building around this thing, you're not building around the -1 cost. That's just asking for too much. But
Well, I mean,
if you put this in your deck and you got a bunch of things that don't mind being buffed, then you're in good shape.
it's also kind of lucky that they just haven't made a card that scales off of like its own discounts. Like it's probably a good thing they haven't done that because it sounds like incredibly cursed design space to explore. Like every time this card gets discounted, buff it is just like that's just the most nightmarish of things to put in your game, I think.
Yeah, like what is the median result? Is like people are not happy,
Yes.
but like the ceiling is just, oh, this breaks the game. It's like a 0-20, you know? That's stupid.
Well, the median result in any conversation around Marvel Snap is presumably that people are unhappy. So that's just sort of baked in at this point.
I guess that is the baseline. Yeah.
Yeah, like that is just like they have curdled the milk of public opinion. And they need to, I don't know, boil it. Is that I don't think they need to boil the public opinion, but they need to do something about that. Hopefully it's just release a bunch of cool cards. We'll see. Pedro's good. Like, I think this is a card that has a legitimate ability to succeed, will be a very obvious good cards card. And frankly, I think they need to stop making 2-drops on the season pass for like a year.
I'm okay with 2 drops. Generic good stuff 2-drop that doesn't ascribe itself to any particular home. I could maybe do without those, because at this point, even without some of them getting nerfed, it's just like we only have so many deck slots,
Yeah.
like they're already pushing each other out. And so I don't know. I guess I would like to see something else or something at a different spot on the curve.
Just make. When's the last time? I realize there's probably an actual answer to this. When is the last time a 5-cost card came out on the season pass?
When was the last time a 5-cost card was playable other than like 3 different cards?
I like Hellion a decent amount. Cannonball's definitely playable. Sarah, of course. But you do okay. You said other than 3, so you're getting down to the Legion lane, I think. Here, Nimrod, I guess.
Ajax and Annihilus in their respective archetypes. I feel like, and that's kind of it.
Is it Gilgamesh, the most recent season pass 5-drop?
Probably.
Yeah. It feels like it's just been mono 2s for 6 months. Iron Patriot inaugurated just the era of 2s.
Yeah, I mean we have Kate, Iron Patriot, Merlin. This thing, I'm sure I'm forgetting one. Surge feels like a season pass, but isn't.
Feels like a season pass because she's because of this 2 thing. The reason she feels like a season pass is because she's generically applicable, so a bunch of people have her, and also they're like, that's just what a season pass card seems to be now. It's just like, here's your 2. Go play this in anything. Like, remember when Dakin was on the season pass? That was a terrible card. That sucked. That guy was awful. He's got a place now, though.
Yeah, there's a more happy median, I think, between like super narrow niche card that also even in its own archetype is probably pretty bad. And Iron Patriot. I think there is a canyon in between those 2.
I actually want to segue here, but it is to another Marvel Snap topic, which is, what the fuck were they thinking buffing Misery? Like, I just want to like zoom out for a second and just be like, what possible reason would you have to do that? Are people just like not playing this card at low ranks because they don't understand that you're supposed to play it with the hood? Are they just like playing Misery on Kate Bishops and being like, oh, this card has a 45% win rate? Like 4-9?
Maybe?
4-9 Misery feels like it's like the reverse of when they keep nuking things like Surtur and Darkhawk that are sort of overrepresented because they are good at being decks that are easy to pilot in subtle ways. Like Surtur, obviously easy to pilot in a baseline way, but Darkhawk, I think, is easy to pilot in that it is a deck that encourages you to cope stay, and everyone is cope staying anyway. Like that's like the hallmark of like what I would describe as like the relatively lower cohort of players, that they're going to do that anyway. And this feels like the reverse of that, where they're just like looking at data and they're like, this isn't making sense. And what's probably happening is just people are not using the card correctly, which is to say, playing it on literally anything but the hood all of the time.
I mean, perhaps, but also, was Misery showing up in many decks? I think that could be part of it.
I think that she was at a perfectly good power spot, as far as I'm concerned. I think that if you're like the number one hood hater that you are, you should be angry with me.
I love the hood. I think it's too good.
That's what I mean.
Except in the Ironheart show.
Sure.
Kind of mid there.
I have not watched that show.
The hood's in it.
No, is that an upside?
He's kind of mid.
Yeah, thanks. Really convincing argument here, my man. You're doing great at getting me to do that. I don't know. I as I've gotten more into comics, I've gotten less into the MCU, if that's even possible. Like, because like I was already down on the MCU, and then like I read these comics, and I'm just like, this is what they were adapting. Oh my god, they're blowing it. Like I read Devil's Reign. That's like the Fisk is Mayor thing. There is a character who is so awesome in it. His name is Cole North. He is the one good cop. He's in the show. And in the show, he's like a guy who does murders on Fisk's goon squad. It's like, why even bother adapting him? Like, what are you doing?
Because it's a familiar name, but it is just like the antithesis of the character that was written.
the character that was written was sort of a parallel to Daredevil, someone who was out to get Daredevil, someone who was driven and motivated and eventually becomes disillusioned with a broken system, right? The character in the show is saying things like, there's a whole lot of scumbags out on these streets that we gotta kill. And I'm pretty sure is the guy who literally shot White Tiger in the head. Like this is not the same guy. And it's like every time, like I get even lower on the MC, because like even when they're doing good stuff, because like I read Devil's Reign and I came away from it after like I read the full Zdarsky run, I read Devil's Reign, and I read the follow-up, and I was like, this is what they were doing. This is what they were adapting. This is like their source material. That's what it was. They were doing the Zdarsky run, and they did it like in a C- way. They did not do it well. And when I watched the show, I had no problem with it. I was like, yeah, this is fine. You know, I'll give it a B. But after reading the run, I'm like, oh, you had this as your source material and you blew it this badly? You can't be allowed to continue to do this. Like, it's such a good run. And
Did Foggy die? Was that the impetus in the comic book for all that stuff? Or
no, I'm talking more about the overarching Fisk as mayor thing.
Didn't necessarily have the like Foggy getting murdered.
No, but like, I mean, he dies. I feel like fairly. Spoilers, I guess. It turns out he does die, but he was replaced by a hand zombie, and this is later revealed when the hand get one over on Daredevil and them by revealing that like Foggy and Stick were hand zombies the entire time or whatever, basically.
They got Stick?
Oh yeah. It's a whole thing.
He would not let that happen.
Well, he did. He got owned. They also got Joe Biden.
That's fine.
No, like canonically. Elektra canonically
happened IRL.
Elektra canonically kills Joe Biden, and then Matt canonically rescues his soul from hell. It's true. I mean, he's not named as Joe Biden, but he is the president, and his smile, his face is often in darkness because they don't want to make it too obvious, but like it's Joe Biden. It's Joe Biden. And so the explanation then in universe, presumably for Joe Biden's mental decline, is soul kidnapped by the hand. That is the canonical. That's what I was saying.
Like it happened IRL.
Yeah. We should probably tangent back onto Mr. Fantastic First Steps at some point.
Pedro!
Yes.
Pedro, my guy. There will be
we have a spotty record
about this guy.
Spotty record bringing up Joe Biden on the spot.
Except for you bring him up. Don't I'm just here. Don't group me in with you. You take all the credit you want, buddy. Anyway, the only complaint about this guy might be that he's showing up all over the place and people are frustrated seeing him all over the goddamn place.
I mean, that's lore accurate though, right? That's how people feel about Pedro Pascal. That dude's in everything.
Yeah, but no one's mad about that.
I feel like racists are, but like there are people.
No one cares about their opinions.
I mean, there's a whole social media platform that cares about their opinions and only their opinions. It's called Twitter.
Yeah. I mean, that shit's fake. I just don't go on there anymore.
That said, this is a card that I think, and I feel like I've said this a couple times where it's like, these are still going to be staple cards, but they're a little worse than the previous staple cards were, right? Is Mr. Fantastic First Steps better than Merlin? My instinct is no, but he does more overtly powerful things.
I think he kind of is better than Merlin. Merlin has maybe more hooks in terms of like hand size or, playing multiple cards and can do more for you. But there is also a little bit of RNG involved there too, in terms of like what order you get which spells and whatnot. So I don't know. I feel like most of the time I'm going to put Pedro in my deck and it's going to do good stuff. And I'm not really going to be frustrated by that.
That's
Whereas
definitely
I have been frustrated by Merlin.
I think Merlin, though, to me is sort of like If you just like jammed 3 Thanos stones into the shocker, that's what Merlin is. Where it's just yeah, you like that? It's just like he's just solving problems. Like he's like 3/5 Nocturne, where it's just like whatever problem you have in that game, he's solving it. Pedro, he does what you want in the deck, but he's not doing extracurriculars. Merlin will just do extracurriculars for you. Like Merlin will just be like win you games out of absolutely nothing that you had no right to be in the first place. Pedro is just good. He's doing, but he's in between the lines, and that's a fine place for a card to be. Iron Patriot was there. Sam did extracurriculars, right? And I think like when you get a card that does both the extracurriculars and the numbers very well, that's when you start pushing it, right? Merlin is, I think, better than this card, but not in like an overt way. This card's power is much more apparent and much more core to your game plan, whereas Merlin is just like, you're gonna get out of this. You're gonna do something stupid here, and it's gonna be good.
Oddly, you could say that Pedro is less flexible than the 100-year-old Merlin.
Yeah, well, Merlin's been stretching for those 100 years, you know. Just a lot of like hard dexterity training. Just
I mean, he also might be older than that. I don't know.
yeah, he might. I mean, like if I'm not mistaken, that's like the literal Arthurian Merlin, so he's like 1500 years old.
But is he existing in present day, or is that like the
I don't
well, this is
know.
the back in the day Merlin?
The Captain Britain Avalon stuff gets so weird. Like I don't have a good handle on it in the slightest. There's a whole arc of Krakoan slash Arakoan Apocalypse Genesis stuff that happens in the realm of Saturnine, who is like, I don't know, like, I don't know the right way to describe it, like some sort of like reality warping goddess of England. Like there's just a lot of weird stuff that happens in Marvel Britain fantasy land. And
Take your word for it.
it's I have it, of all the aspects of the Marvel universe that I have read a book about, it is the one I understand the absolute least. I could not even begin to explain it to you. Like I could talk about the Fall of X stuff with like super intelligences and 4 Mr. Sinisters way before I could talk about this. And that stuff is nigh incomprehensible. This stuff is just gibberish. I do not understand it in the slightest, and I read an entire arc set in the realm that it is in.
Weird.
Yeah. Pedro Pascal, flexible actor, flexible card. But like, I keep coming to this. It's not better than release IP. It's not better than release Sam.
No.
It's you think it might be better than release Merlin, which is still current Merlin. You think it might be worse than Surge?
No, I think it's better, but I don't know.
No.
It's close.
Okay.
I do like the fact like Surge is 1 proc on your 1 card. This could potentially hit the same card over and over again, which, you know, maybe you have an 8 power brood, or maybe you have a thing that costs 2 less or something, and maybe that ends up being a big deal. And I think that kind of puts it over for me, in addition to the fact where like you just play him and then he's just chilling doing his thing. Whereas you are incentivized to draw the card that you played that you surged. Right. And so you just have way more control, flexibility, as it were, with this guy.
Yeah. What I'm trying to think about is like, is he more or less likely than Surge to create turn 3 Galactos? I genuinely don't know. That's a math question. I think it's less.
I think it's less. It, like Galacta has to be in a specific 12 card slot, right? It has to be on top of your deck on turn 2. Whereas
well, it has to be on top of your deck. Yeah.
Has to be on top of your deck turn 2, and then this she has to be one of the first 5 cards you draw, and then also win your 20%er.
And then also win the 50%er on top of that.
True, yeah.
So like I think it just ends up with him being less likely to do that. And that is largely, I know that sounds insane, but like 4s on 3 is really, really, really goddamn good. And I kind of think that's what makes me give Surge the edge when I talk about the two of them. It's like, which one of these is going to be doing this more often? And if it does end up being Mr. Fantastic through like, you know, wrinkles to that math, like running multiple 4-drops that you want to hit, Gwenpool and Galacta, maybe they're both going to be in hand. But again, I don't think the math ever works out such that it's more likely that they're in deck or anything like that. The argument for that, though, is he makes your bad hands way better, or has the potential to make your unplayable all 4 hands into like actively good hands.
Yeah, that's the thing, is like I think that Surge is more about ensuring that you can curve out and play out the majority of your cards, whereas this is like you don't really care all that much. Like, whatever, if you play Pedro on 2, what you're doing on turn 5 and turn 6 is hopefully going to be something relatively powerful. And it, like, you can just be doing whatever in the meantime. And I like that aspect of it.
Do you think it's good flavor for Reed?
No. Well, I mean, like, he's a science inventor guy, so maybe, I don't know.
Like the way I thought of it is they already did a card where it's Reed stretching. So this is a card where it's like Reed's intellect, right?
Yeah.
He's just like tinkering away and throwing upgrades at your guys.
Yeah, this is not the you know, got blasted into space and got superpowers version of him. This is just like the thing that allowed him to go to space. This is the thing that he innately had as a human, but I still think that is flavorful to some degree. It's just not what you would think of when you're making a card about a superhero.
Gerry, I think there's been a miscommunication. The Thing is a 5/6.
Wait, what?
You said this was the Thing. Not the Thing. This
Mr.
Fantastic.
The Thing is the bear. We have decided.
Right.
So
but this is Mr. Fantastic, not that guy.
Pedro is the Thing.
No, as far as
Pedro is the Thing, which is he's smart.
Incredible. What tongue dexterity from Gerry Thompson in that sentence. Just a really,
like I said, a
really impressive one there. Do you want to talk about Johnny Storm next? You don't have a pull. Oh wait, no, we skipped over Herby, who is actually kind of awesome.
And the car?
Oh god, the car. Okay, so the good news about the car is I'm pretty sure it won't be good until Vanessa Kirby comes out, and then
you don't need to say her full name. So
I think I do. No, I think I want to. I owe her that much. I think. The car probably won't be good until she comes out, because that's when we're going to be really playing around with end of turn type stuff, which is good because that means when she comes out, she's the last card of the season. There's only going to be like 7 days before the card just enters the normal Series 4 things. So you don't have to worry about it being on the premium season pass, because that deck's probably not going to exist until it actually hits like a real sort of saturation point of all the Fantastic Four being out. So there is that, right? But it obviously does seem pretty poor idea-wise to put that card on the premium season pass. Although I guess, contrapositive, if you don't plan on picking up the cards this season, or you only plan on picking up, like, say, the ones that seem generically good rather than the synergy ones, you can call Fantasticar a miss pretty easily.
It does feel like a lot of power.
Does it?
Yeah, but 4 cost activates are also very clunky and kind of bad.
Hey, you know what's a lot of power? Symbiote Spider-Man. You know what's not being played right now? Symbiote Spider-Man.
I mean, that's way different.
I mean, you get 2 procs off this, and it's, the 4/11. Symbiote Spider-Man carries buffs better. I mean, I don't actually know how different they are.
Well, gets buffed himself and then like gets shanged or whatever, right? Whereas this is spreading it around, and I think that is more positive for you in general than just going super tall with one thing. But
I just think that it's
I
notable.
also think I'm searching for end of turn right now, but I do think that yeah, ideally you're getting more than a 4/11.
The two that stand out to me that are probably going to be in these decks are Hydra Bob and Makari. Then you have, your Mr. Fantastic, of course. But I don't think there's many more just like good stuff end of turn cards in any deck that would want this. Like Thena and Havoc are end of turn, but you're not playing them in any deck that plays a 4/7, basically. It's just not a thing you're going to actually be doing.
Yeah,
And
Sunspot, Doom 2099.
yeah, pretty iffy. It gets pretty iffy from there. So, like, when this card comes out, it's going to be Mr. Fantastic, Makari, Hydra Bob, probably, which makes me feel like it's mostly two.
Well, yeah, but you were talking about for Kirby as well.
Yeah, when she comes out, we'll have Johnny Storm, we'll have the thing, we'll have her, we'll be thinking about other things there, and then suddenly this card actually does get better. But the context in which it can be a miss is if you're just not going to get those cards. Like, because if like this is a premium season pass that says don't bother with me if you're not like getting every Fantastic Four card, basically. Don't even bother. Don't even interact with the premium season pass unless you are already turbo whaling, is sort of where my head is at.
How does premium season pass work? Because we didn't get a card with that last time, right? It was just borders.
Yeah, it's an additional $10 on top of the normal season pass. That's it.
But we've had that.
Yes, there's just a card in it now.
Yeah, okay, no, that's great.
I don't know if it's great. I don't like that. Again, like there's this thing that I don't like. If it was just a second season pass, I think that would be so much more palatable to me. Where instead it's like I pay money to earn the right to pay more money. And that I don't love.
Well, I think if you're considering spending it all, season pass is the easiest buy. It is the best value, not close, right? Okay.
Always.
And they could, in theory, be more generous with that. And just like, oh, we'll put a second card on this track for some reason. But why the hell would they? Right.
I don't mean like that. I just mean like the fact that it is behind the season pass. If I could just spend $10,
So I think if you're going to spend money, you're going to buy the season pass no matter what. Now you have a choice towards, do you want to acquire this through $10 or through a Series 4 pack or whatever? Like, which currency do you have more of? / maybe you don't even care about this thing.
Series 4 pack. That would be my advice.
Yeah, good advice. I don't know how much directly a Series 4 pack costs.
2,500.
Yeah, but like dollar direct conversion.
How well? I mean, if you want to be a shill, you could say it's free because you get 3,000 tokens on the collection track every like 128 levels or whatever. So it's free.
No, because then you could then say that every card in the game is free. That is not true.
100% true. Factual. Yeah, you're getting. What happens to Gerry is he keeps getting like they keep trying to like pull him up to heaven in a beam of light, but then they realize that he's a clone and as such does not have a soul. And so they're like, oh, our bad. And like this happens sometimes with our cloning procedures here at, KMBest Podcast Incorporated. Sometimes
you ain't got that Pedro big brain.
Well, it's not necessarily that. I think it's more just like what we're doing is such an affront to God that.
Well, that's definitely true.
Yeah,
I mean that's why I signed on in the first place.
Yeah, like it's just such.
Well, not me, but the
previous. You are very far in that lineage. Like it should be commended, really. Like when you look at when you give an AI a picture and you say perfectly recreate this picture and you tell it to do that 30 times, it'll look totally different. But you look the same. I would say that we are at Reed Richards level personally.
Except I wear tank tops now.
Yeah, we'll figure that out. Like the last two versions looking a little weird sartorially, but the sartorial variance has been there since the beginning, so I think people probably just won't notice.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah. I think that the car is probably just not going to be good until the end of the month if it is at all. So
Agreed.
that's sort of where my head
It's
is at.
interesting though.
Yeah.
Like the car and the Kirby both take a thing that used to just be, you know, flavor text on cards effectively that did something into an archetype.
The Kirby.
The Kirby, the car and the Kirby, Vanessa Kirby.
The Kirby.
Yeah.
So disrespectful. Unbelievable. You have no appreciation.
The.
Oh,
I put a the on it.
it's worse.
What if I called you the KMBest? It'd be like, oh, damn.
I would feel, first of all, please, that's my father. Second of all, I would feel pretty awkward about it. What exactly do you think of Herby? And before I say what exactly do you think of Herby, can you read out Herby? Because this one you're not going to be able to get from memory. This is the 2/3 that has an activate that switches every turn, and it switches between 4 things.
Oh, Herby, not Kirby. Maybe we can't call her Kirby because they rhyme.
Yes, that's why we have to call her Vanessa Kirby, as we should. Because we can't just call her Vanessa because that's the Kingpin's like dead wife or whatever. Vanessa Kirby.
Yeah, so Vanessa Herby.
Okay.
2/3. Each turn this is in play, swap to a new activate ability until one is used.
And those abilities are?
I don't know. I'm looking for them.
All right, I'll start. One of them is you get +2 energy. The other one is you make a rock and set it to 4 power. The other one is you give 2 power to up to 2 things in 2 other lanes, so it's another 4 power. And then the last one is double this card's power.
Those are all reasonable. Rock is the worst.
I would guess that the worst one is the one that takes up board space, but there are cards coming out, these Fantastic Four guys, which really want the board to be full to actually make their thing trigger. So it's good that Herby helps with that, I think. Or at least can. The Herby. So there are 2 that stick out to me. Obviously, +2 energy. That's pretty stupid, right? Like 2/3 +2 energy. It's pretty dumb. We know that's pretty dumb. The other thing about it, though, is double this card. There are so many good buffs in Marvel Snap right now. And you get 1 Galacta proc on here, and it's a 2/10.
Here's okay. Come on, man. You play Galacta, you play this, and then you roll that activate.
That is
you
true.
Have one turn.
But that will happen 25% of the time. That will happen 25% of the time. That's a guarantee.
But that also means on turn 5 after you played Galacta, you're like, oh yeah, here comes my Herby with the buff.
Yes. That is.
And then you have 3 energy, you're playing like some 3/4 shitter.
No, you play the Human Torch and don't give him the buff. That's because you're doubling your Herby every time. Come on.
Why would I want to double my Human Torch when I could maybe double my Herby? Maybe my Herby will roll +2 energy on turn 6. That'll be cool.
Yeah, he does sort of depreciate later. Where like when you're playing Merlin, one of the things about him that's so fun is he's just like literally never bad. Like, yeah, he's a 2/3 on 6, but on 5, he could still just like roll you something that scams them out of the game. Like you're just chill with that. But like the other thing is like, you top deck a Herby off a Surge. You top deck a Herby off a Surge. You get a Herby off a Mr. Fantastic proc. That's all you need. Off a Surge, we're talking 1/8. Off a Mr. Fantastic proc, we're talking 2/10. Like, there's just a lot of stuff that's like already pretty well statted. I kind of think there's going to be like a buff deck. And I think there already is. But like, I think it's about to get like really souped up.
I'm kind of on board. I don't want to poo-poo you too much. But trying to do all this stuff with an activate, maybe I buff myself. is a little rough. I'm not saying like the deck is bad and that Herby won't be in it or whatever. I'm just saying that like this is probably not the thing that is going to carry.
Yeah, I
It'll
mean,
it'll
plus
work
two energy is,
sometimes.
right? Like it's plus two energy. That's the thing, right?
That one's pretty good.
Let's rate Herby on the 2-drop scale. I'm going to give you a list of 2-drops. You're going to tell me better or worse, okay?
Yeah.
Current Iron Patriot.
Herby,
Okay.
because that card doesn't see play and this card will if by nothing less than it's new and people will try it. But also it is stronger.
Current Surge.
Surge is stronger.
Merlin.
Merlin flexible, Herby just power. I think Merlin, but apples oranges kind of.
Mr. Fantastic, First Steps.
Oh, I'd much rather have first steps in most decks. Vast majority of decks. I'd say that guy.
So, what about current Sam Wilson?
What is there to do with current Sam that is actually good?
Mostly what I've seen him in is like sort of ongoing theme decks, and or if you happen to be playing Mockingbird.
Herby, I guess. But the synergy stuff with Sam, like it could come back in a meaningful way. You don't know.
Kate Bishop.
Similar to Merlin. I think that Merlin Kate comparison is pretty clear, and that Merlin mostly wins out. And if I think, I don't know, which one did I even say was better? I said Merlin was better.
Yeah, I think
Herby's
you were.
better
I
than
think
Kate.
you were a little more ambivalent on Merlin than I would have liked, which is why I brought up Kate. Because
Sure.
I think both
Herby
of
is
them are
better than
better.
Kate, but I think Herby's better than Kate, but Merlin is a lot better than Kate.
Sure. I think
So
Kate and Merlin are both better, but Herby contributes more directly to just points on the board. Like this guy, honestly, there's a world where this card is just old Sam Wilson. Where it's just like, why is this a 2/7 with upside? Like there's a world where like this is just like, why is the floor of this card 2/7 and the ceiling of this card is +2 energy? Like what's going on with that, right? I can see that actually happening.
it's a cute robot.
It is a cute robot.
It's like if BB-8 got a card, people would be mad it was bad.
Do you think they're trying to make Herby like Baby Yoda?
I don't know.
Like the Superman movie has Crypto.
The dog?
Yeah, that's like their little. That's the mascot. Like,
Oh.
Like they're like every movie has like a little mascot guy now.
That's a rough name for a mascot now.
What do you mean?
Like Superman on the blockchain? What's going on?
He's from the planet Krypton. What is
I'm saying it's a rough name for a mascot now.
It's spelled with a K. It's totally okay.
I get
He is not sponsored by Binance.
Yeah.
It's
Superman produced by FTX.
There actually is so definite. Like they're gonna have to be really litigious with like shit coins because the idea just occurred to me, and if it's occurred to me now, it's occurred to some idiot like 6 months ago. Crypto coin. You spell them both with a K. You just go like pump and dump that around the time of the movie coming out. Oh my god, they're gonna have to be litigious
and
as fuck.
And then you make a website called the Crypto Coin Corner. Spell that one with a K too.
It's an online casino. It's an online casino, but that's also
it's
also spelled with a K. It's legally distinct from the word casino, so it's not technically an online casino because it's spelled with a K.
Wow, is that how it works?
Crypto coin casino. All Ks.
No, but yeah, if I make a casino and just spell it a little different.
Yeah, that's. I'm pretty sure that's how crypto ends up being not regulated. Is like, no, it's definitely not unregulated securities. These aren't stocks. They're like a totally different thing. It's okay. We call it a different
Well,
thing. It's fine.
what about reserved list magic cards?
Right. We just call that a different thing. It's fine. Like
Okay.
the fact that the fundamentals of it are identical to an unregulated security does not mean that we should regulate it. Obviously, because it's a different thing. Like it just it has a different name, which means
I did not
yeah.
understand, but then you said words, and now
Yep.
I understand.
Yeah, it's got a
Thank
different
you.
name. Yeah. Speaking of different names, what are we gonna call First Steps Human Torch? I'm thinking Johnny with normal Human Torch being Torch, but I don't know.
What did I say?
Something horrible.
What was 11, because
Yeah,
he's
it
from
was.
Stranger
Yeah,
Things, and
yeah, that
that's
was
the only
bad.
character's name I remember.
Yep.
We'll call him Munson after his very normally named character in Stranger Things. Oh, call this guy 314 because he big.
Yeah, this guy, like, we talked about the preponderance of buffs and like how I was excited for them with Herby. Everything I said about that applies way more to this guy.
Yeah, okay, so take all the shit you said about Herby and using
Yeah.
it on a 2-drop activate. Talk about it in regards to this guy, and I agree with you. Wow, Cam, you're a genius. All of those things, buffing this Munson right here. I think that is brilliant. I actually think that's gonna work out really well.
Yeah, he's
Big
like if
card.
Sebastian Shaw was good.
Yeah,
He's like
exactly that.
he's like if Sebastian Shaw had the word double on him instead of +2. Like that's just what he is. He's the world's greatest Sebastian Shaw.
He's like Black Tom Cassidy.
He's he's actually like Captain Carter, I think. Where the difference between them is that you can play him on the final turn of the game. And that is a massive difference. It might not seem like a lot. Like, oh, I'm investing my points here or whatever. Your opponent not knowing where the biggest guy on the board is going is incredibly important. Like that's an unbelievably important thing to actually happen.
Yeah, this card's weird because you play it on turn 3, it's just a 3/8, right? If you fill it up on turn 6.
Mhm.
Which is not bad. Like that's pretty good.
Wait, no, I think you have that wrong, right? It's 3/2, end
No,
of 3,
3/10.
it goes to 3. Yeah, it's a 3/10, yeah.
Wait.
End of 3, it goes to 3. End of 4, it goes to 4.
Oh
End of
yeah,
5, it goes
double
to
the star's
5.
power instead. So it doubles on 6
Yes.
instead of you getting the power. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, 3/10. 3/10 just playing it, filling location on 6. Pretty
Yep.
good. You can just hold this and buff it a few more times. And even if you draw it late and you have a Galacta, it is not that bad. Dude, your cat rules.
Yeah, she's cool. It's my own fault for wearing a black t-shirt though, because she's about like I ordered a bunch of white t-shirts,
yeah.
right? No, I can't win. I got white t-shirts. I wore one yesterday. It turns out she's just dirty, and so she left dirt on the white t-shirt and she leaves hair on the black t-shirts. I can't win. It's impossible. But yeah,
That's
sometimes what'll happen is like she'll come in here and meow, and she'll wait for me to meow back at her before she jumps up here. It's like she wants permission, I guess, or it's like we're having a conversation, which to me it feels like it'd be a horrifying thing. Like imagine like you're sort of 25-foot tall jailer like aping human speech. Like you say like, "Oh my god, please help me," and they're like, "Oh god, please help me." They just don't understand the meaning. That'd be horrifying for me, but she loves it.
That's what happens between me and you. You open the door to the basement and I look up the stairs and I say, "Please help me." And you're like, "Oh, please help me." And closes the door. It's really cool.
Yeah, that's why we have to replace you guys every episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. I full disclosure, Gerry was talking to me about the concept of bullying before the episode, and I made a reference like, "Oh, like what I do to you," and he didn't even get it. He doesn't even think that I bully him, which is an indictment of my skills as a bully. Like, I just am not good enough at it, I think.
Oh, yeah. I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure the bully wants the person to know that they're being bullied.
Right. Which means I'm bad at it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I have been trying to cultivate the relationship of, are you familiar with the show Taskmaster?
No. I mean, I know of it. You might have been the first.
I'm very into it now, yes.
But you did bring it up at some point. And I was just like, I don't know.
The relationship is like this sort of like egocentric, domineering psycho, and then his like long-suffering assistant. I've been sort of trying to inject that. And clearly the lesson that I need to take away from this is I need to be worse. I have to I have to be more egocentric. I have to be more domineering.
No,
because
you
clearly
have
what
to-
I'm doing isn't working.
Dude, I am old and broken. Like, not because of you. I came this way. You need to get someone who is young and full of life and hope.
Just beat it out of them. Yeah. Yeah, I do. Well,
I don't have those things.
Well, you like
can't take anything away from me.
You're like a week old. I feel like you're talking a big game for someone who was born in a vat on Tuesday.
Yeah, but I feel like I'm 40, you know?
It is crazy how our technology has advanced to a level where we can give you like, tinnitus and like backaches, but you're a week old.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's something
It's
that's
great.
something we put a lot of work into it, I think. I'm glad.
Yeah, God bless America.
Yeah.
That's why we just had our birthday and we celebrated vigorously.
I stayed inside the entire day. I guess that's probably not a surprise, but my girlfriend was out of town. So I literally just did nothing.
Like any other day.
It was like any other day for me. I streamed, did nothing.
I went to a friend's house. It had nothing to do with what day it was, really. But
so I'd be like, okay, look at you, Mr. I have friends. Okay, all right. Fancy.
Friend of a friend, really.
No, still. That's an even further expanding social network. I think that the Human Torch is, of all of these cards, the likeliest to be kind of messed up.
I could see it. I could definitely see that. I feel like Pedro is going to show up a lot. People are maybe going to be kind of annoyed, but it's not going to be like, oh, I lost just because of this thing. But then old Munson here is going to come down as a 14 power thing. Card. Can't just refer to things as things anymore, apparently. It's confusing.
It's true.
He's just going to come down as a Munson and just Munson you. And you're probably going to be pretty mad about it because then they're going to have extra energy to do other stuff with, too.
Okay.
What?
Brainwave. Munson. Are you familiar with Bunsen burners? Is there something there? He's the Human Torch. Bunsen burner.
No, I do get it, but I think the movie is Kingpin.
What? How did you get to a different movie here with a different Marvel character's name? Is it named Thingpin? What is your problem?
I've never seen this movie, but yes, I was correct. The movie Kingpin has Woody Harrelson, the main character.
The bowling movie, Roy Munson. Okay, so we're calling him Woody.
That's a stretch. You call him Munson after his Stranger Things.
That's not a stretch. That's the Human Torch. Different guy.
Oh.
Keep doing this. I can't believe it. I really appreciate getting set up for that joke twice. That's really nice.
There is. So the reason I know of this movie is because it made itself known in like the Magic Zeitgeist, where I think like Munson was used as a derogatory term.
You guys had so many derogatory terms for like anyone who was even slightly bad at a card game back in the early 2000s. Bird,
Yeah, and even then they could have been
barn.
very good.
Those are the two I'm
Bird?
familiar.
Did you say bird?
Bird, like as in the context of like
That was not derogatory.
someone who is always birding the finals, like a rail bird, someone who is never actually in the top 8. That's not derogatory.
No, that was I was birding this match. It was never like, oh, look at all these people birding this match. Yeah, obviously there's a lot of people birding the finals because only 2 people make the finals.
Okay. I don't know. Barn is a great one. That one's just like
Barnacle as the
Yes.
thing that attaches itself to the hulls of ships.
Yes. That's a really, really great way to be shitty to people.
It's so deep.
Yeah.
Like, just calling someone a barn is incredibly deep. But yeah, calling someone a Munson was derogatory.
In what way? Like, what did it convey?
That you looked like Woody Harrelson.
Oh, I thought it was like something about like the competitive nature.
No,
Like a-
I mean,
like a-
you looked like you were as smart as someone who looks like Woody Harrelson is actually.
Right.
Even though he seems like he is pretty smart.
Right. Yes.
But he
it's
doesn't
just
look
another-
it.
Yeah. Okay. It's not as deep as Barn then. That's just like this is just calling someone an idiot.
And I'm reading these quotes. I'm trying to find someone use it derogatorily, and I'm not seeing it. I don't know.
Ah, maybe you had it wrong the whole time. Maybe you were
No, I
complimenting
definitely
people.
did Oh, I didn't use it. It was just
Hmm.
it was like Jason Apolka thing, I think. The king.
What I really enjoy is like early 2000s slang that when you look back on it is like purely for the purposes of excluding people. What I don't really know the right way to describe it, is like soft slurs. Like they're not slurs because there's no like racial hatred or like hatred of the person, the type of person you are. There's no painting with a broad brush here. But it's like a way of like labeling someone in a derogatory manner that I can only really compare to slurs. Like in wrestling, the term mark.
Oh. Yeah.
Like
No,
it's just
it was very much slur adjacent. You are correct.
Yeah. Like it's not what it is. And it is honestly perhaps doing a disservice to the concept to compare these sort of casual words to things with hundreds of years of hatred behind them. But that's sort of why I find them so fascinating, because like they've been around for like 20 years and they're like these incredibly niche subculture slang words that only exist in certain contexts. And I like barn is one that kind of just lives in my head, where it's just like, that's like, there's a lot of stuff like imported from poker. I assume that's one of them.
I think this one was Magic, but yeah, there is a lot of stuff that comes from poker.
Like, damn, that's
wait,
like
which word? Bird
Barn.
or Munson?
Barn.
Barn. No, barn I think was just Magic.
Oh, I just assumed it was poker.
Bird is a poker thing.
Yeah. I assumed barn was poker because it was such a sort of advanced level of like misanthropy, where it was just like you just like there's a specific kind of asshole that would come up with that.
I agree with that. But I think in this case, it was a specific kind of Magic asshole, because I think Magic players had barns more than poker players had barns.
I wouldn't know. Like, I don't go outside. I'm not familiar with the social dynamics of whatever it was in the Magic community in 2003. Meow. Looking at me. Meow. There she is.
I'll get in.
Yes. But yeah, it's just it does strike me as I didn't realize that was like, homegrown imported Magic insult, I didn't realize. I just assumed it was a poker thing that got brought over. It just had to be.
Pokemon players, feel free to take that back to your communities with you. Bring it back.
Go call people barns. Gee, it's such a shitty thing.
Also, I really enjoyed I really enjoyed Thanks Barn or like Thanks Bee.
Ooh, I didn't even know about this.
Oh yeah. It was like you do something nice for someone, like you just I went to go get a soda and I brought you a water, and they just say thanks, B, and it's just like,
oh God, yeah. It smacks of a very specific type of like people who were not cool are suddenly able to actually like have a bit of social dominance and immediately go about labeling like hierarchizing themselves such that the only thing that matters is the one thing they're good at.
how do we give people badges and guns and then suddenly they start abusing their power? It's the same kind of shit. It's like these people were picked on all their lives or whatever, and now they're like cool in this card game arena and they have a little bit of power. And what do? They immediately start abusing it.
We should start calling like people like Trump Barnes. I feel like that actually does accurately describe a class of commentator.
Oh no, it does. Yeah.
Yeah. But I think outside of that, I find it hard to find a context in which I would ever feel comfortable calling a human being. And to be clear, political commentators do not count. Right-wing Twitter accounts do not count. Not human beings. They are Twitter accounts. Let's be real about this.
Yep. It's all fake.
Yes. But the very specific thing that I just can't imagine ever just calling someone that. Just like, damn, such an asshole thing. It's crazy. Speaking of Barnes, I guess it's probably time to talk about the Thing, who has a beard literally composed of barnacles.
What?
In the movie, he can grow a beard and it's like made out of rocks. It is entirely unclear to me how he shaves, but he grows what seems to be a depression beard in the movie, and it is made of the same stuff his skin is made out of.
Is it just because he's been working at that restaurant? It's really stressful. I've been watching that show. It seems really stressful.
I don't know. I can't figure it out. But it's
Season 4 was good though. The Bear. Go watch it.
If I could, how many pieces of media have you recommended on this podcast ever?
Not many. I can't imagine. I
think it's like zero outside of video games.
I don't recommend things because I watch things and I enjoy things, but unless I know that you're going to enjoy it, why would I recommend it to you? That's stupid. People recommend dog shit to me all the time. And then I'm like, what is wrong with you?
Have I recommended you any dog shit?
I don't think you've recommended me much, if anything.
Good. That means that I'm operating by your rules. I have successfully managed that. I do recommend Taskmaster. It's all on YouTube.
I think that you know that I would not enjoy it.
I don't know that.
So I hope you are.
But I might just be stupid.
You're recommending the audience that and not me. How I used to handle this was someone would send me like a YouTube link or whatever. And then I'd be like, are you sure? And they'd be like, yes. And I'd be like, everybody gets one. And that's it. If I click on a thing and I think that this is not funny or stupid, I will disregard everything else you tell me from here on out. And they're like, okay, don't click that. And I was like, okay, well, if you're not confident enough for it to be your one thing, why would you send it to me?
I feel like that's an insane way to approach interpersonal relationships, Gerry. Like, someone just wants to like share something they enjoy with you, and you're like, if I don't enjoy this, you're fucking dead to me. You understand that?
I would disregard any link that they sent me.
Your tastes are dead to me. If you get this one wrong, you're someone who knows how easy it can be to lose a coin flip. What if they just lost a coin flip that time?
It's not a coin flip. Because people would routinely send me things that are just dog shit that passes for like frat bro humor or whatever to me, and think that I would find it funny when it's like, have you met me? I would not find that funny. Like,
well, but enough about my YouTube channel. Yeah.
So then I give them the choice of like, are you that confident that this is the thing that you want to spend your one Gerry Duckett on? And inevitably they would all say no. And it's like, okay, I just won't watch it then.
Why do you think you wouldn't like Taskmaster?
It seems like a thing that basically I don't like things where the characters suck. And it sounds like this is a show about people who are like bad people.
No, dude, it's a game
And it's
show.
like, yeah, but like that doesn't help. That does
It's
not add to your cause.
It's are you familiar with Dropout at all? Like
I know of them. I've not watched
Yeah.
any of the stuff.
It's the closest thing to Game Changer that isn't Game Changer.
Okay, but like there's a reason I have not watched any of the Dropout
No, I mean,
stuff.
like that's sort of why I was asking. It was
humorous
like, yeah, like if you don't enjoy that, I can totally understand why you wouldn't enjoy this. But that is sort of why I asked, because it's like I feel like you are at least adjacent to communities where Dropout is unfathomably popular. Like it is.
communities like politically, yes, but not in terms of like, I mean, I'm sure a bunch of like left-leaning people also like Will Ferrell movies, right? But like that ain't me.
Yes. Okay. I feel like that's more like a whatever the 2008 version of a resistance lib is. Like Bush era resistance libs. Big on Will Ferrell. Yeah, he did a one-man show being W. That was his thing.
Jonah Hill.
I have no strong feelings on Jonah Hill. Other than I'm jealous of
saying,
his
like,
ability to lose weight.
I think that's just Ozempic. That would be my guess.
Uh,
I just the like mainstream comedies that like everybody seems to like. It's nails on chalkboard for me.
That's crazy to me because first of all, Jonah Hill hasn't been in like mainstream comedies in a decade. But
no, but people who are my generation and
yeah,
are the same as me politically or whatever, right? Like
you don't enjoy Superbad.
Correct.
What is the last thing you saw that you loved? Bear season 4 doesn't count.
No, it doesn't count because I wouldn't say that I loved it.
Sure. Like, I just saw
think that it is very good, but
oh, go ahead.
I think like Kiss Kiss Bang Bang for some reason is a movie that is definitely a comedy that I do enjoy.
I just saw Sinners, and you should see it. It's a really good movie. That is a very good movie that is doing some really interesting stuff. I loved that. But like when I think of like movies that I really love, it's like I really loved Sinners. I really loved Killers of the Flower Moon. God,
that movie was long. Holy shit.
It was. I can't decide whether to be angry at you for that being the only thing you took away from Killers of the Flower Moon.
It was good, but goddamn, dude. I started watching it when I was already kind of tired.
I have vast tolerance for long movies because I think that's just me getting more bang for my buck.
I mean, I'm a person who is perpetually out of things to watch.
Yeah.
Because I have something going on in the background all the time, right? And to some extent, yes, it is nice when a show has 10 episodes in a season instead of 8 or whatever, because then that is more content that I have on in the background, whether or not I enjoy it or not. So I could have gone to bed like an hour and a half earlier. That's all I'm saying.
Sure.
Sun was coming up.
I think that is an incredible piece of work. I'm kind of blanking on like things I was just like absolutely blown away by, but I guess you probably shouldn't be absolutely blown away very often. You know what I mean?
I liked Arrival.
I've never seen Arrival. I can't. I have no commentary on it. I enjoyed Armageddon, which
I never saw it. That was like 2004 or some shit.
No, sorry, I'm getting it wrong. Annihilation.
Okay.
Different A movie.
How
do I do
think
this?
I've seen that one.
I keep messing up A things. Like I'll mix up Eliath and Annihilus and Arishem all the time. 100% of the time. I will never get it right. I just did it with.
You'll never forget.
I just did it with Annihilation and Armageddon. What is wrong with me?
A's got a bunch of words that are silly.
Yes. Yeah, like I feel like once you get to like 8 letters, I'm just like guessing at random. Like I'm operating under the same principles that like an AI would, where it's just like seems right.
Yep.
That's up. 8 letters.
Most of the time I'll be
sounds
right.
like it. Yep, let's go. Fire it. And then like that's sort of how my brain is working when it's like looking to recall those names. What did we decide to call the Human Torch?
Munson.
Okay.
It's not going to stick. It's not going to stick.
It's definitely not. But I mean, it's pretty. I mean, like we could get like I missed my window. I was trying to do like a non-stick pan joke because of like fire, and I don't know. The window closed. it didn't pan out, if you will.
Anyway, the Thing with his barnacle rock beard is fine. I don't know. Like,
I can't tell if this guy's like super messed up or bad because every 5-drop is bad.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Is like 5s ask so much of you.
Yes,
but like, yeah, maybe this is good. What if you ramp this guy out? You get like an extra 2 power. Like,
if you ramp him out, he's Shang-Chiable. So you can't do that.
Well, you can. It's just maybe not advisable.
He needs indestructible.
Okay, so
text.
5/6. End of turn, plus 2 power, once per game. If your side here is full, destroy an enemy card here with less power. Wait, hold on.
It's not an instead. Unlike the Human Torch, that one just happens.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah. So it's a 5/10 if you play it on 5, plus whatever you get from blowing it up. But it's a 5/10 you have to commit to filling the lane in. You have to play your 5-drop and then also fill the lane your 5-drop is in?
That's fine if you just got some nonsense, right? You got like some Thanos stones or just random garbage. You don't care.
I think a lot of decks right now are using that random garbage to feed Merlin. And so they do care.
Sure.
A lot.
But what if now you got Vanessa Herby and Mr. Pedro Fantastique?
Okay, genuinely, which of them are you talking about when you say Vanessa Herby?
Herby.
Okay. That might be
How is
a
this
worse.
Confusing? I don't understand. You have a lot of competition in the 2 slot. Maybe you're not playing Merlin, and you have perhaps the Munson and the Barn, and you are actually trying to fill your locations instead of toss away your shitters for once and futures or whatever.
Bro, who is the Barn?
The barnacle beard guy.
Oh god. The
bear,
Munson
you know,
and
the
the
one.
Barn. We're pitching a sitcom. You realize that,
Whenever
right?
whenever the Thing wins the game, you say thanks, B.
That actually plays though. His name
B
is Ben.
stands for Ben Grimm.
Yeah, his name is
Dude.
Ben. Yeah, his name is Barn Grimm.
Yeah,
Calling him.
I think I cooked.
They're calling him Barn Grimm. I hope he used a non-stick pan for that cooking. Yeah, brought it back. I'm gonna bring it back one more time. Comedy comes in 3s, Jerry. This
Can't wait.
is yeah, it's so true. This is a card that I have absolutely no read on because it could come out and be total ass, and I'd be like, yeah, that makes
You're right.
sense.
There is no read on this card because it's Ben Grimm, not Reed Richards. This season's too hard, man. There's
so good though.
it's too hard because it's the Thing, and he's made out of rocks. You see.
This is an all-time good season for puns. Like, if you're a fan like me of just really bad jokes, this might be the best season they've ever done. Like, there are so many of here's the thing jokes to make.
Oh yeah, well this season's so good. How come there's not a second steps? I don't think there's gonna be one.
I feel like you lost me there. You know, like we were cooking. I was rolling. He was just like joke after joke after joke, and then like you just like you did like a Michael Richards at the Comedy Store or at the Laugh Saturday or whatever it was,
Which
whatever.
is the exact same as what we've been doing. Yeah. Yep. Uh-huh. I'm following. And then what?
Michael Richards at the Comedy Store, but he says barn instead.
I don't get it.
You're not familiar with this. Michael Richards, the guy who played Kramer, he famously said the N-word during a comedy set and got canceled for like 12 years. Like he just started yelling the N-word in the middle of his comedy set. The joke here being that, you know, barn is replacing that. He's just calling people barns instead. That is the joke.
Yeah. I think it is different. I see what you're saying because I did say that barn was slur adjacent.
Yes, that's
maybe I said Munson was slur adjacent, but
that's
they're
what
the same.
That's what I'm riffing off of here. It's like I'm imagining a world where it's like,
but
it's 2040, and people when they type barn on the internet like censor the A.
Yeah,
that's the world I want to live in.
I mean, this was not pre-internet era, but definitely around its inception. It did not spread and it did not stick around because most of the old guard retired to play poker or whatever, and they took their slurs with them.
They also, being old, don't know how to use computers.
True.
This is a key component in understanding early Magic websites and why they all, capital L, looked like that.
Some persisting to this day.
Speaking...
Also, just beam me up already. What is happening?
I think that the angels are calling you, like, the shelf life on you clones is not particularly long. And so I think...
Is there a Reed Richards joke there too? I make one bad joke, and then suddenly you're just trying to nuke me from existence.
I'm not trying to. Evidently, the answer, like, succeeding.
Well, succeeding, but not yet.
Like you're gonna slowly.
It only hurts
out.
A little right now. I'm sure in a minute it will hurt a lot, but
no, it's actually topical, right? Because you are becoming invisible, much like the Invisible Woman. You are. Also, there's a good pun there that I couldn't get to. Topical, like as in like a topical cream applied to the skin, which is turning invisible. I feel like if someone wanted to imagine that I made that joke, feel free, because I'm sure it would be hilarious. With the thing though, it's like, okay, here's my argument for why he sucks. 1, this is a 5-drop, they're all terrible. 2, this is a 5-drop that wants you to put other stuff in his lane. So not only are you investing in a 5-drop, which is a significant commitment, you are also then committing to investing further into him. Here's why he could be good.
But why is that not the same argument with the Munson?
Because he costs 3. It's literally that. Like he literally costs 3.
He's adding 14 power or whatever. Like you're overkilling.
But the issue is that you are committing other things to the lane in order to get the ability off the card. It is harder to commit things to that lane if you already invested 5 energy in it. You get 21 energy in a game, investing 5 of it and then more in one lane, that is way worse.
You only get 21 energy per game.
Okay. All right. Okay. I mean, some of us don't have the rigged streamer client and or ever play Magic.
I don't know, just play a once in future. Get 22 energy. How you like me now?
That would be 23, but whatever.
Well, not really, because 1 is spent on the one in future, dummy.
But that's still 23. Like it's you see 23 energy.
You have 21 energy to spend on total things. Now you have 22 energy to spend on total things because 1 is going to the one in future.
Correct, but that is part of the 21 that was spent, just like every other part of the 21.
It was part of the 21, which is why you now have 22.
No, I don't agree with this math. This is fake math. This is absolute. You have 23 energy in a game where you play once in future, in the sense that you are playing 23 energy worth of cards, including the once in future.
If I had a quest that said spend 23 energy per game, I would clear that quest. Yes.
Yes.
But for what we're talking about, for how much energy you have to spend a game, you could say, yeah, I have 23 minus the one that I have to spend on the ones in the future. Or you could say I have 22 energy to spend on things.
I guess you could say that.
Because you don't have 23 to spend on things, because you only have that if you spent one of it.
Well, you can't have 23 to spend on things. He costs 5. That doesn't divide properly.
It doesn't divide properly, but one of the things also costs 4. We also have Pedro. Could make it cost. It just fudges the math a little bit, you know?
But if we're playing Pedro, it's not 23 energy on things. You're messing this up.
Well, that's a separate energy pool.
You're blowing
we need a Pedro pool.
This is my thing energy pool. No, but like legitimately, I do think that like there is a very vast difference between the allocation of resources to a lane being 5 plus whatever and 3 plus whatever. I think it is a big deal.
I hear what you're saying, but to me, it's like, depending on how many of these cards I'm playing, like I would assume that if I have the thing in my deck, I then also have Human Torch, most likely. The inverse of that is not necessarily true, right? A Human Torch deck is not always going to play the thing. But if I am a deck that has both, I would hope that I'm very good at filling locations and don't really care. So you might have like Mysterio. I think maybe that's the most normal one, especially if you're doing some hand buffy stuff or whatever. But I could see like, oh, I really want to fill my locations. I'll play Squirrel Girl, or I'll play Thanos to have a bunch of stones or whatever. And ideally, you're not directly contributing energy to also proccing the thing, because you have things that are incidentally putting shit in.
Yeah, I think that is true that ideally you're not. But in practice...
But yeah. In practice, if it's like you drop this thing on turn 5, and then on turn 6, you're like, oh, now I gotta fill location. It's gonna cost you like 4 energy or something to do that. Okay, yeah, that sucks. But then it's still 5-10, and it's not a good rate, but we've already established that none of the 5s have good rates. Yeah. So
like I think the 4s and 3s are too damn strong for 5s to be good. And this used to be like 4s were too strong for 5s to be good. Now 3s are also too strong for 5s to be good. Because like you're talking about it, oh, it's a 5-10 and then it blows something up, right? What did you call Johnny Storm? Oh, it's the 3-14. Like,
yeah.
Like, what are we doing here? You're just
but
always Human
like
Torching instead.
Maybe.
Yeah, it's like you're just always Human Torching instead. That's like the thing. That's what I keep coming back to here. Is like, I would really like this card to be good, but I just like I don't know how you're supposed to like. So you run up against being Shang-Chi-able when you try to make a big 5. You run up against that every single time. And with a 3, you don't run up against that because guess what? You can play 2 of them on the final turn of the game. You can play a 3 and a 3. You can play a Rude and a Human Torch, and you'll have 2 really big guys. And that's really good. But you can't do that with a 5. And so the 5 being Shang-Chi-able sucks ass.
True. Evergreen.
Yeah.
Like that is a thing that is true and will always continue to be true. And we haven't even talked about like Torch plus Silver Surfer. Big number.
We haven't talked about Torch plus. I mean, like, let's just list the cards that need to be nerfed, right? Surge. My apologies.
Now we're getting into short S words. Single syllable.
It's so true. Surge, Galacta, Gwenpool, 2 Gs, 4 6s that do basically the same thing. I don't know what they were thinking with that. I hate them a lot for that one. Like, that one seems designed to mess me up. It really does. Like, I feel like there's no possible way that they didn't get confused internally and they were just like, ship it anyway. Speaking of which, AV and AV, I still hate them for that.
Agent Venom, Anti-Venom. I mean, that's a Marvel thing.
That is clinically insane. Like, it is.
I tried really hard not to mess them up and then still mess them up routinely.
Oh yeah. I don't really try very hard at anything. So but I try a medium amount and I still mess them up all the time. But like, just like things
Agent Venom's the cool guy with the guns.
True. I think that this group of buffers that has already been good just absorbs Reed Richards or Pedro or whatever we decided to call him it absorbs Munson, and that is sort of what happens to the deck. Like, it's just like you take the good cards deck now and you put those cards in it, and maybe you start playing around with Brood and buffs in your Shang-Chi Enchantress deck, which I'm already kind of doing. And yeah, you just play that, and it's insane. And obviously, Human Torch is going to be great there. Like, just an absolute monster of a card. And it all comes down to the same thing it's always come down to. You can play 2/3s on the final turn of the game. If you Zabu or Surge or Sarah, you can play 2/4s on the final turn of the game. You can never play 2/5s on the final turn of the game. It just can't really realistically happen. And so 5s are in this awful design spot where they need to stand alone, but also, if they're Shang-Chi-able, good fucking luck, because guess who's playing some other shit that wins another lane alongside their Shang-Chi that wins the lane against your 5-drop? You done. Like, it is so... I don't know how they're supposed to solve that problem.
Buff Zabu is what I'm hearing. Zabu now hits 4s and 5s.
Zabu now hits 5s, but at -2.
Oh, smart, yeah.
Yeah. That's the move. I mean, like, honestly, I do think what they should do with Zabu is just change his tech from 4 to 5.
And then swap Khazar and Blue Marvel. And then I'm
Yeah. Do that. You got it. Just change his tech from 4 to 5. Do whatever it is you have to make it happen. But
honestly, that would be sick. If Zabu, not that this would make it good, but if Zabu cost reduced Blue Marvel and Gilgamesh, Zoo looks a lot better.
It's really cool, right?
It's cool.
Yeah, there's like really cool stuff. And I think it also very specifically, like, Zabu at 4s runs up against that you play 2 of them thing. Always. But Zabu at 5s probably doesn't, depending on like how many other good cost reducers we have. It's unlikely to do so. And I think that's just a really cool space for it to be in. Of course, if you do Zabu at 5s, turn 4 Sarah seems like it's kind of a thing you want to watch out for. Like, there's some stuff to figure out, but like, I kind of think that is what I would do with Zabu.
I would also be fine with just nuking Zabu, but
I like Zabu at 5s because I think not only do 4s not need it, but 5s do need it.
5s need it, but it's not a good solution to that problem. Like, you nuke current Zabu, now 4s are less good. Now maybe there is more competition between 4s and 5s and more incentive to play 5s. You could also make some 5s that do things like Gwenpool, Galacta, but in reverse. Because those are like, I have to play them first, and then I play things that get buffed. This would have to buff the things that you've already played, kind of.
Like Gahori, who is a 4 for some reason.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know how you would make a 5 Kahori that now that 4-drop Kahori exists doesn't just look bad.
Yeah.
Like, you'd have to, like, +2 all of your cards or something, but then it's just like, isn't this just better Blue Marvel or something? I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is make the 5s better somehow.
I think that taking Zabu away does go a long way towards making the 5s comparatively better. Just doing that does that. But I think they still need more help because of this fundamental issue. I personally, like, it's been a long time coming, but I am fully on team delete Zabu from the game. I'm there. He's gone.
Yes.
I
love
forming.
Cats. I love cats. I'm sorry, Zabu.
I'm currently forming a posse. Sorry. We're going to go to the second inner offices and drag Zabu out of there kicking and screaming.
Oh no.
It's happening. Like, we're going to make this happen. We are going to visit Ben Brode's house. And instead of engaging in productive dialogue about the price of cards in the game, we're talking
about Marvel Snap here. We don't do that here.
We're going to kidnap Zabu, okay? He's gone from the game.
We're gonna rehome him. We're not putting him down. We're
getting him back to the Savage Land. We're putting him back in the Savage Lands, not here.
Well, that's somewhat problematic. Like, domesticating an animal and then releasing it back into the wild, its home habitat. They're very oftentimes not prepared for that.
I am fairly sure Zabu is like some amount of sapient. Like, I'm pretty sure he's not just a cat.
I would like to believe this.
I am fairly certain that
But
that
if you release a domesticated cat into the wild and just day one it got eaten by a dinosaur or something, I'd be so mad at you. So I'm just
yeah,
gonna make sure before I give the okay on that.
my cat is the least able to survive in the wild cat I've ever even come close to encountering. Like,
Yeah.
within 10 seconds she would die. Like, there is no shot. She is an incredible combination of very brave and very clumsy that would absolutely get her killed. She has an incredible appetite for jumping up the places and then being unable to jump down. And just like, I kind of think that she just like has like a weak body basically, but she doesn't know it. So like she'll jump up to a place and then in jumping down, it's like she's in pain the way, like, it's like, I feel like she's like, not like hurt, but like normally a cat just like jumps down from stuff and it's like, they don't even notice, you know?
Yeah.
She notices. And it's like,
Oh, that's maybe not good.
no, she's like a little sickly girl. When she was born, she was so sick they had to like repeatedly, I don't know exactly what she was sick with. She had like major digestive issues. But there's a picture of her that we have. The vet's office called her Miss Pantaloons because she had like constant orange dye around her lower body from all the iodine they had to dip her in from all of her digestive issues. So it looked like she was wearing little orange pants. She's a very sickly girl. She has feline herpes, which means that her immune system is super weak. Another reason why we just don't even let her go outside. And
I mean, most cats
yeah.
have herpes.
Hers was notable though, because what we thought were just normal eye boogers, we took her to the vet and they're like, nope, give her these eye drops. She's had none of them since then. So it turns out that was just like a persistent eye infection that she had and just didn't even vocalize or mention. It was just like, yeah, I've got this. And it's just one of those things where I don't know why I expect her to mention it. She's a cat. Like, it's just no symptoms whatsoever.
She do be meowing at you a lot.
She does be yapping. But yeah, she's just a very like, I don't know. I feel like she's like the weakest little girl of all time, you know? And she can't go outside. We can't let her. She'd get bit by a bug and like actually die. And like, I'm overstating the amount by which like I'll notice her like not like limping or anything like that, but like actually feeling the impact of jumping down from somewhere. Like, but I do notice her like I feel like she's a little ginger. You know, does that make any sense?
Yeah.
She's not she doesn't want to do it.
My oldest cat, Nora, was doing a thing where she was pretending to be injured to garner sympathy. And I guess this is like a real thing that cats are capable of doing. She was just like, ow, my paw, when I was around like limping.
Yeah.
And then when I was not paying attention, and then I would like look at her and watch her walk, she's just walking normally. But then as soon as she realizes that I'm watching, she just starts limping again.
That's interesting because like that's the opposite of a cat's instinct, right? Like their instinct is to never show that they're hurt. So that means that she trusts you a lot.
But it was maybe losing some of that trust because I wasn't feeding her the right gravy or something. Like, I don't know.
Manipulating you, but she trusts you. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a healthy relationship.
Well, she trusts that I'm dumb enough to be manipulated. And honestly, not wrong.
Yeah, I think that probably works. No, but like I don't know. I just like I feel like she's honestly like for a cat probably on the dumber side and probably on the clumsier side. And I have some questions related to that. But I don't really particularly think she's like in pain or anything like that because she runs around too much to actually be in pain. Like there's too much running around out of her for that to be a thing. But she definitely can't go outside. She would get like she would eat a blade of grass and die. Like that's, Yes, like like she would like taste McDonald's Sprite and just instantly have a heart attack. Like just that's exactly what her life would be. We haven't talked about Invisible Woman.
Good in her deck, I suppose.
Is she? Like, is that a deck? What are you envisioning it looks like?
Is Doom 2099 remotely playable? Because
No.
I don't play against it often, but when I do, sometimes they even do the thing where they Zabu into the Doom and then they put out like a negative amount of points and it takes up a lot of board slots. And I'm like, was this supposed to be good? So in theory, Invisible Woman would have been good in this deck. But now it's like, oh, you get another shit bot for your shitcoin and your shitcoin casino website, I guess.
I
Whereas like I don't think this does anything, but I don't know, like what does this interact well with sunspots, for example? Like if that's true, then maybe that's cool.
I think so. I think it does. I mean, it's a 3/5, right? Like I would
Yeah, that's
say
the
how
other thing
bad
is
can it
her,
be?
her base stats aren't terrible.
Do you think we're just ever jamming all the Fantastic Four in a deck?
Minus the thing. Because it costs
Sure. I mean, you cost 5. Yeah, like you gotta. We'll fix Zabu at some point, right? You know, from our lips to Glenn's ears, the Zabu thing.
rehome Zabu. You're not putting him down. You're not returning him to the Savage Lands.
You're
just to
arguing
be
for
clear.
deportation here. You're like,
No, keep him in country or whatever. Let him go to whatever country he wants as long as he's in a safe, secure environment.
I mean, I've heard that El Salvadorian prisons are definitely secure.
I have not heard that.
Well, no one gets out of them.
No, well, yeah.
That's where we
But-
gotta send Zabu, dude. I'm sorry.
No, no, rehome him with a loving family, not in a prison. I like you can. They do all have some amount of synergy with each other. I just don't know that makes for a good deck. But if you end up playing like 2 or 3 of them in the same deck because they kind of work well with each other and you're just playing the strongest ones, I think that makes sense. But yeah, if you wanted to put them all, you just get the car in there too, sure.
That's the other thing. Is Invisible Woman better than Fantasticar? Because I kind of don't know that she is. I like points, dude.
I think in most cases, points are better than like your ability happens twice, even though in a lot of instances, the abilities happening twice does generate power, but it's not necessarily guaranteed. 3/5 certainly better stat line than 4/7.
Is that even true?
What's
When Zabu and Surge exist, is that even true? I'm serious.
Yes. I think so. I mean, unless you're glutted on 3s and don't have a lot of 4s.
Which happens a lot.
Then maybe. I don't know.
Like I think they're closer than a lot of people give them credit for in high level deck building, at least.
Okay. One of the end of turn cards you mentioned, Makari. Reasonable with the car, not reasonable with the Kirby.
Correct.
Doesn't do anything. Marvel Boy, assuming you are doing that thing, Invisible Womaning it is more than the car. Pretty unlikely that is occurring. Assuming the Doom thing is somehow good, I guess better than with Invisible Woman.
I mean, she is like,
But
in a world where Doom 2099 wasn't absolutely gutted for presumably the exact same reasons as like Surtur and Darkhawk, where it's just like it's impossible to go wrong, so it looks insane in their data, which is like the top 50% of all players, and so like anything that's easy to play just like gets absolutely hammered all of the time. In a world where that card was good, she's so goated there. Like it's just like it's like a 3/5 that basically says you ramped your Doom 2099 a turn early. Like it's so good.
Yeah.
Like, so good. It's like 3/5 Psylocke. It's unbelievable. Retroactive
But
3/5 Psylocke.
in hypothetical deck that you were talking about earlier, like Havoc, Thena, low base, certainly you can play Invisible Woman there over the car.
I mean, you play neither,
Realistically, you
though.
play neither of them.
Yeah.
But I think Invisible Woman being cheaper is much more appealing if you're doing a bunch of low to the ground stuff, especially like Thena's asking you to double spell, Havoc's eating your mana, etc. Like Invisible Woman, maybe kind of tight.
Yeah. I am gonna stack rank the cards from this season, just based on vibes. We're gonna say Reed Richards, Johnny Storm, Herby, Invisible Woman Thing, Fantastic are probably above Invisible Woman. I really hope I'm wrong about the Thing, because the positive case for the Thing, by the way, is he has the clutch gene. Much like Sage, this is a card that gets better when both of you are competing for a lane. Like when there is a Nexus, when there is a Baxter building, that is his shit. Now, is that enough to like make it? Also, yes, it is literally his shit is the Baxter building. Ha 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 ha. But that is sort of his niche as a card, and that is the positive argument for the Thing. I did give a lot of negative arguments for him, but if he is good, I think it will be largely off the back of that, where it's like, if you are like, he is a card that goes in the lane they are trying very hard to win. That is what the Thing is.
Yeah. I don't know how often this is going to come up to you. I mean, you could play games in such a way where your opponent plays a somewhat scary card and you kind of fill a location in case you draw the Thing. Like, say they play their Galacta solo in a lane or something. Like, ramp it out. You're like, okay, well, I'm going to play, 2 cards here, and then you play Thing and maybe eat their Thing before they get another use out of it, or like, I don't know. But yeah, I think the Thing is appealing compared to other 5-drops. I just think that 5-drops have problems, and it's not really the Thing's fault. I think things about the game need to change.
Are you telling me that the Thing is a victim of circumstance and yet perseveres through that horrible circumstance regardless?
It's not exactly top-down design.
But
in a way it is.
Yeah. What I enjoy about the Thing as a Jewish man is that he's just literally the golem. Like, you don't get a lot of Jewish folklore in pop culture. You kind of only get the golem. Like in One Piece, there's a golem whose name is the Hebrew word for truth, which is in legend what was carved on the forehead of the golem to make him animate. Ben Grimm is the golem. Like, that's what he is. That was like explicitly like what he was designed to be. There was like a supernatural episode with the golem, but that's literally kind of it. We don't get a lot of other, like, there's no one doing like Jewish Dybbuk's or whatever. We don't get that kind of rep. So I'm just like naturally a fan of the Thing because that's like that he's all we've got. And Lord knows the world needs positive Jewish representation at the moment. Like, there's plenty of bad stuff happening on that front. So I do appreciate my boy a little bit.
Word. Put him in decks. Start spreading the gospel / propaganda.
Well, it won't be the gospel. He's Jewish, dude. What is your problem?
Whatever the Jewish equivalent of gospel is.
I genuinely don't think we have that. Like, I don't know if we have a word for that concept. It is such a like specifically Christian concept, but I guess it would be the law.
Yeah, it is.
It would be like the law. Like, that would be like the equivalent. It would be the law, I think.
That sounds maybe less friendly.
It definitely is. It is very much less of an outreach-based religion, I would say.
It's certainly true. I don't know. I hope he ends up being good. I hope he ends up finding a spot. But certainly, yeah, I agree that Johnny Reed are 1 and 2. I don't really know in what order. They're both fairly strong. I think Reed more applicable, but
I wanted to put Johnny at 1, but I keep thinking like, okay, how good is good Sebastian Shaw actually? Like I keep thinking like, are we sure that's good? You know?
well, like I said, you can just play this on 3, not really do anything specific, and
Get
it's
it
just
heinously
a
Shadow
reasonable
Kinged,
thing.
yeah.
Well, sure, but maybe that means they're not Shadow King your other stuff, you
Maybe.
know? Maybe that's good for something. Presumably, like any deck with the thing probably has Human Torch. Any deck with Human Torch probably has Reed. And that means if they are Shadow Kinging your Torch, maybe you have some things that Reed has buffed.
You only have one thing that
What?
Reed is buffed, unless you played Moon Girl.
Well, there's 2 things, dog.
I will say one final anecdote here. And to be clear, I said anecdote, so I did not have to say the word thing in that sentence. I like specifically I specifically played around it there. I feel as though the gap from the first few cards that come out, Reed, Herby, and Johnny, and the other cards in this season is pretty pronounced. Like this is a season that looks like what it wants you to do is get all of the cards so you can play them all in the same deck. I think it is far more likely that things end up in like a Reed Johnny angle than that all 4 of them end up being the same deck.
I could see that, but I don't know. There is the very, very small percentage of gamers that you speak for. And I think that like a median Marvel Snap player may just do the thing that they're telling you to do because it is content. Yeah, they may just do the thing. Full stop there.
Yeah. I
may engage with the season in the way that Second Dinner has designed it to be.
We're actually like, this is a good grammatical exercise for us because it gets our lazy parts of speech out. Like we have to actually think about what we say instead of just referring to everything.
How many times do I use thing to describe anything? Apparently it's a lot.
I feel like honestly between us, it's probably double digits in this episode. Like,
well, yeah,
I think we have made this joke probably a double digit amount of times. If anyone wants to go back and count the times we've done the thing joke, I guess we'd also probably count like, yeah, please don't actually.
It's depressing for us. It's depressing for you to spend your time doing that instead of literally
anything else.
Any Ben Grimm else. Yeah.
Ooh, nice. I do think that this actually does sort of project to me as a season where like if you wanted to budget it out, you're probably looking at the season pass and then Johnny Storm and then maybe Herby and then probably not the rest of it. If you're like a Spike is sort of where my head is at. I do want the rest of it to work. I'm mostly invested in specifically the thing. Like that's a character that I really like, a card I really like. But I do think it's funny because there's a specific issue of the current Fantastic Four run where Reed and Johnny hang out. And like the whole joke is like they keep escalating everything in very stupid ways. Like they're like the denouement of the show is of the issue, I should say, is everyone else getting back from trick-or-treating and discovering that Reed and Johnny have dug a hole in the basement, released a bunch of cursed ghosts, and then plugged the hole up with a skull that perpetually spits blood that they stole from a cult. And then Sue Storm just spends like 2 full pages yelling at them like, oh, do you realize how stupid you are? You're supposed to be the smartest man in the world. How is this possibly a thing you did while we were gone for 4 hours? And so I think they are like explicitly written as like, whenever they are together, they become stupider. They combine to be dumber than anything ever before. And I think it's cool that that's the pairing that I think is likely to end up showing up here.
That's one of those scenes that is so oddly specific.
Yeah.
That is just like this person is drawing on something in their life, you know?
You're supposed to be the smartest man in the world, and then she just repeats what they did back to them while Reed looks at her like he's a puppy. It's so good. It's very good. I enjoyed that Fantastic Four run a lot. I read it in part because of this season. So at least one person has been converted to being a comic fan via Marvel Snap, and it's literally me. I don't know if anyone else has, but I have done this.
Good job, team.
Yeah, you know how close I was to saying I have done this thing? I was right there, dude.
And I'm gonna keep doing this thing.